Hello gainers, welcome to the channel called Fitter Philosophy, and I am your host Ralphie, and my topic of discussion today is on the subject of intermittent fasting, which is something I'm very familiar with personally, and I find from experience that it really works for me. To explain what intermittent fasting is, very practical, very simple, and everybody can and should do it. But don't jump in the deep end. Don't try to do too much, too soon, or too fast. You have to build up gradually and steadily and manage the feedback you're getting from your own body to tell you how you're doing and, importantly, when you should stop. Intermittent fasting is where you simply stop eating food out with your regular eating habits. Our regular eating habits is encouraged, particularly in the Western world, is breakfast, lunch and dinner with snacks in between. We are encouraged to consume more than we need because it makes profits for someone else. It's as simple as that. But intermittent fasting is where we simply stop eating by breaking our eating habits for a prolonged period of time, more than we usually would, and we monitor the effects on ourselves. We stop when we are ready to stop, and when the body tells us to stop. And in this respect, it's good to start off slowly and, for example, skip a meal. There is absolutely no harm in doing that. One of the consequences is that you may feel a little bit lighter, a little bit fresher, a little bit more invigorated, and a little bit sleeping more easily, a bit more rested, for very practical reasons, in that we're giving the digestive system a rest. It's so used to constantly digesting the food that we're consuming, often for entertainment purposes rather than for nutritional purposes. Often we're eating the wrong type of food in the wrong quantities, with the wrong quality. And we have to think very carefully about that, because what we consume makes us what we are physically, which affects us psychologically. And frankly, we are what we eat. With intermittent fasting, giving yourself that break has three primary consequences, and I'm just going to go through each one of them with you briefly. First of all, resting the digestion. It's a little bit more than that. To actually get to the point where, having rested the digestion, you feel hungry, genuinely hungry, a hunger that, if you've got access to food on a regular basis and you're sort of grazing, as we're encouraged to do, we very rarely eat hunger pangs. We very rarely get hunger pangs. But hunger pangs, when they arrive, is the body's way of asking us to eat something. And therefore, it is the body controlling our food intake rather than our pre-programming and the advertising and the media and the marketing that's not the word. I'm a real tongue twister here. Telling us, that's it. I knew I'd get there. Telling us what we should eat, how we should eat, with all the adverts. You've seen the adverts, all the happy smiley faces. Here's the portion serve size. Consume that, consumer. Eat this, eat now. It's the more you look at it, the more you'll see how condescending and patronising it is. The more you're seeing the displays of utter contempt coming from those who manipulate us. We've got to take control of ourselves. Intermittent fasting is a very, very practical way of doing that. Second benefit is re-energizing. When we let our digestion rest, it gets a break. And just like us giving ourselves a break by a good night's sleep, the digestion has a break from actually going through the physical process of breaking down the proteins, carbohydrates and fats that we're consuming, particularly the carbs, processed stuff, in unreasonably high amounts, which the body finds demanding and difficult to process. When we've got natural source food like vegetables that contains fibre and is not nutritionally super dense like a bar of chocolate, good example, it's far easier for the digestion, for the stomach to cope with that, and for the intestine to get the benefit of all that roughage. It's good for us to eat natural food. It's what we basically are designed for. But you walk into any supermarket and just look at the volume of unnatural food. In other words, heavily processed food. And when we avoid them, take a break with them. Don't cut them out completely, but we give ourselves a little bit of break inside, and that re-energizes us. But most of all, the reason I do it is to lose fat. I find intermittent fasting, if I'm on a cut for the summertime, to get a little bit slimmer, to shake off that ring of fat that I get around my tummy, I find that the most useful weapon available to me that works for me, not tablets, not supplements, not extra protein drinks and all the rest of it, are going on Weight Watchers plans and particular diets. I find simple intermittent fasting works absolutely fine. And I build it up gradually. And this is an important thing, and this is where I'm going to conclude. If you're going to do this for the experience of it, to see how you react to it, because we all react differently, because we're all different people. As much as we're different on the outside, we're different on the inside. And that doesn't get talked about much, does it? But you build it up steadily. So just simply skip a meal. One day, have your breakfast, skip lunch, and then have dinner. There's no harm in that. Then do it again, and then a third time. But have a few days break between doing it. So there you are, you've covered a week to 10 days. Then you may want to go for a full day fast. If you pop back to my next video, I will explain how to organise a full day's fast. I'm Ralphie from the studio. Thank you for watching. Click subscribe, like, and all the rest of it. Leave comments. We'll see you soon, gainers. Bye-bye.